morning,
Good afternoon.
good evening, wherever you are on our glorious planet. While you're listening to this, if you're listening to it on the day it's released, we are in Costa Rica doing our instantaneous transformation adventures for 2025. It's not too early to plan for 2026.
Sounds like fun.
It is. Apology addiction. You ever found yourself lost in a cycle of apologizing for yourself? It's okay.
Sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry.
No? Sorry, no?
Sorry? No.
Oh, it's all right to be bold to you. No apologies needed. Let's play with this theme, and we'll start with being here via listening.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I was going.
That was good, right?
You read my mind.
It's worth a sip of your coffee then.
You can have it.
Oh, you're the best.
I am the best. That's true. Best me I can be.
That's correct, as are we all.
Have you noticed how much you offend yourself? Like when I say I was the best, did anybody out there think,
Bristle?
wait a second.
He doesn't have a problem with apologies.
How arrogant can you be? You know?
Yes.
Well, it's all right to be arrogant. It's all right to be okay being you. But you know, we listen. We listen to our thoughts, and our thoughts are not our best buddy.
They are demeaning.
Have you noticed that? That if you do something that some part of you doesn't approve of, so I don't know exactly where that exists, that commentary that tells you you're not good enough, you have to lose weight, you have to gain weight, you have to do your hair, you have to put on makeup, you have to. You know, that part of you that says you're not okay being you exactly as you are.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. I'm sorry that you have such a thing, but you do. We all seem to.
Now, this is not about getting rid of all of the apologetic thoughts you have. It's about bringing awareness to who you are, how you're operating, period.
What is awareness?
A non-judgmental observation or seeing of something. So you accidentally drop a glass, it breaks.
I did that.
There's an expletive that often follows, like, oh, shoot, only maybe a little stronger. And then it's like, then you're maybe hard on yourself for it, or you make an excuse. Oh, just slipped out of my hand, or I was rushing, and then if there are other people in the room, I'm sorry, I'll clean it up. I'm sorry. It's not about getting rid of any of those reactive states.
It's about noticing that you have them.
Did we mention?
We sometimes, I most speak. And
very often finish each other's sentences.
In other words, she finishes my sentences. She hoovers my head.
I do. I'm really good at that.
She's really good at that.
It is so efficient.
It is efficient.
It is efficient.
Yes. So. Well, after 42 years together, it should be efficient.
I should hope so.
And we're still doing it.
Oh my gosh. You told. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Be proud.
I'm only kidding. Let's take our first guest, shall we?
Okay.
Miss Jen, welcome to being here. Happy New Year. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hi, Ariel and Shya. This is Jen in Kansas City. And It's really good to see you guys and be with you.
Thank you. Thank you for attending yourself.
And it's nice being with you as well.
Thanks. This is a really good topic because I know sometimes for me, I'll find if I'm uncomfortable or if I'm like trying to get a word in, or, you know, there'll be times when I'll apologize. Similar to the example that you gave where it's a reactive apology instead of just relaxing into whatever happened and you know, notice that I don't need to be sorry for, you know, how I'm reacting.
What do you mean by getting a word in? I just
So,
I,
By that?
I wasn't quite sure what you meant and what the context was.
so I work as a sales manager, and I have a product that I sell. And oftentimes I'll be in a room with several other sales managers, and we'll be talking, and the cadence, I'll get off the cadence of the conversation, and I'll like want to try and oftentimes what happens is I'll be interrupting the conversation because I'm trying to get a word in. I'm trying to say something or agree with something or make a point or
Yeah.
something.
So, Jen, are you saying that in your sales meetings, no one listens?
You know what? Yes, that's exactly what I was saying.
Good. Well, yes. Uh, you can apologize on purpose as a form of interrupting to get a word in edgewise. You can do that, but we're not only talking about that. We're talking about where you're apologizing that you have anything to say, like as if you somehow are subvaluable.
Well, in the subvaluable vein, my question is, are most of the other sales individuals
Men.
men? Yes, men.
They are.
Is part of the pressure to add something have a overtone of gender competitive nature?
Yes, it does.
Proving that you also know.
Yes. Yes. I feel like sometimes I have to. I've caught myself mid talking where I'm like throwing out my credentials. I'm this. I'm a
Yeah.
professor. I teach. I have a master's degree in engineering. Whatever. And yeah, that's kind of a way of apologizing, I guess. I don't know.
Kind of,
Kind of, I guess.
kind of, I guess.
Absolutely, it is.
All these qualifiers. What if, Jen, you were just straight? You just said what you thought, and you didn't prove that you were okay for whatever your gender is. You know, it's about being genderless. It's about having something contribute or not speak at all. See,
Oh, she raised her eyebrows. I know
Yeah.
you did, but let me address not speaking at all.
okay,
It is, I know that I am an equal partner here. However, there are times when individuals or collectively groups are more prone to hear from the male perspective or shy of the individual. We've done thousands of seminars and consultancies, and many of them over the last number of years are on Zoom. And I'm assuming at least some of your sales meetings are on Zoom. So I can, if somebody is disregarding me, in my experience, I can either invest in that automatic offense that is on tap, should I wish, if I'm upset, or I can be with my reaction and be here. And then what happens is I either say something or I don't. But when I do, the timing is never out of sync because I'm not driving to resist their perspective.
or to override what was said earlier,
True.
to try to prove that you also know. See, look, Jen, you have your credentials. You wouldn't be in the position you're in as a sales manager if you weren't capable and able
And credentialed.
and credentialed.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
why prove it to them?
Actually,
In fact,
Mhm.
their insecurity is not relevant, really. You don't have to prove you're okay to an insecure person. Now, if you were a doctor performing an operation on somebody and they didn't know you, then well, then you might have to, give them credentials to so, but you're already in a position of manager.
Right. Got it.
You didn't get there by accident.
No.
No, you're qualified. That's why you have that position.
If you're in a meeting and it's a conversation and you're actively listening as opposed to trying to do a different agenda, which is prove your equality,
There you go.
get the men to listen to you, make your point, which I really get because I've been in plenty of meetings like that.
Yeah.
If you allow yourself to listen, you will synchronize with the conversation, number one.
The other thing is you will see things that they don't see.
And there will come a time where you can do the Jen in Kansas City roundup. I'd like to go back to what Shia said earlier about X, or I'd like to go back to what Jen said earlier about Y. She put forward this. That was great. Here's another possibility to add on, or I'd like to emphasize what Shia just said. You've seen me do that multiple times.
Yes.
In a Living Made Easy, for instance, where I'm also clear they're not listening to Shia. And somehow when I say, I'd like to circle back to what he just said because it was brilliant and I feel it was missed, there's something in that was missed, people always tune in to listen. They want to see what they missed. But in order to do that, I have to be willing to champion my partner, in this case, Shia, your partners, the other people in the meeting. You have to be willing to champion their brilliance.
And if you're trying to prove your brilliance, well, you're not very brilliant. If you have to prove it, you're not.
By the way, if you
Now, I'm not suggesting that you're not brilliant. I'm just saying that if you have to prove you're brilliant, you
come across as stupid.
Exactly.
The other thing is, if you champion their brilliance,
they may champion yours.
They are more likely to listen to you because, like, oh wait, let's listen to Jen.
Well, she said nice things about me.
She said nice things about me last time.
That's awesome. I thank you because I know just thinking back to some meetings and situations, I can see how I stopped listening when I was trying to get a word in. And
I just got something.
Yeah.
Look, you are overweight.
Yes.
Okay. I think that overweight is a form of getting the agreement that you're not so much a woman as another guy. See, they hold you. So I think your weight supports your credentials in these meetings.
Okay.
Whether you realize it or not.
Not sure I'm seeing what you're seeing. So can you explain a little more?
Well, I'll try again. See, if you were a Marilyn Monroe type, they would disregard you completely.
Ah, gotcha.
So as a strategy, you present as one of the guys somehow.
Yes.
This is part of that strategy. It's
yes.
One of the table legs on the I'm one of the guys table.
Got it.
Yeah. Do you see that?
Yes.
Well, that in a way eliminates the sexual thing. You see, it's no longer their prejudice because I'm a woman.
I'm not the weaker sex, so get over it.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm not.
I never saw that before, but I see it in this conversation that you're trying to fit in, and I bet you a lot of these guys are overweight too.
Yeah, some of them, yes.
See, it's kind of a Midwest thing.
Yeah, it is. Yes, that's interesting.
So it makes you not the other in a way. I mean, of course, you're a woman, so that makes you different.
Yes.
However, you're not as twiggy,
Twiggy, yes.
twiggy-ish. You're
Got
not
it.
this runway model that they have to overcome that to hear you. So this is a way of being accepted, if you will, whether you realize it or not. See, I'm just seeing
I,
that for the first time.
I think you're onto something. Yes, that actually rings really true, Shia. I think you're onto something.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, you should really listen to me. I know what I'm talking about,
Yep.
guys.
Actually, he was doing being you there.
Right.
And it's true. He does know what he's talking about. But basically, that was his imitation of you in a meeting.
I see that. Yes. Wow. Wow. Okay. That's awesome. Thank you,
Look,
guys.
you can just be okay being you. You've got see, I don't prepare for seminars. I show up. I have the experience over many, many years of this thing called living in the moment. I don't think it, I am it. It's not something I need to. And I'm suggesting you have the same or very similar expertise in engineering and sales and lighting and generators and all of that.
I love it. I got it. Yes, I will.
I recently wrote a blog, which is also going into a book we're working on with fishing vignettes. And I realized in there the propensity to downplay or apologize for my success. And part of it is to not put other people, make them uncomfortable if they are having difficulty in this case, it was around fishing, being on a fishing adventure. But also, I've noticed from time to time, Jen, that when I appear as a large version of me, a full blown version of me, there are people who are enough insecure that they will attack in order to even the playing field. So, additionally, you can have a strategy of downplaying who you are. That's the pendulum swing from proving who you are
Yes.
order to avoid the backlash of people who are feeling insecure for whatever reason. And
Wow.
we started with the commentary about it being about awareness as opposed to trying to get rid of these things. It's walking into a room and recognizing what's at play. So you have a choice.
Yes. That's wow. Cause I mean, you hit both because I can see that I have, I'll hold back just because I don't want to offend somebody or,
Well,
I have,
offend them.
okay.
If they're offendable, they will offend themselves with whatever you do.
I see it
Right.
as sides of the same coin.
That's kind of like managing by threat of upset.
Yes, where they're managing
They're
her
managing
with
her, but with the threat of being upset. And it's not only men that undermined Ariel at fishing lodges, it's women too. We had a woman once tell another woman what Ariel and I do.
Somebody said, what do you do? I've heard you lead seminars. What do you do?" And the woman sitting next to us who
took over
and said,
and she's
"Well,
never had anything to do with
she's
us.
never listened to a podcast. She's never come to anything. We'd barely met her. Her husband had been coming for a number of years, and she joined him. She said, "Well," and she started saying what we did, and it was so strange
Because especially since it was completely off base of what we really do. But that we didn't have to defend ourselves there. We didn't try to. We let it go. Because I'm of the opinion that if somebody doesn't want to hear from us, they'll have somebody else tell them what we do.
Now I want to go back to what Shya said. Here's an example. He said, offend them. This was not a dictate or a strategy. It's a permission to have all possibilities on the board.
Unfold as you be you, rather than try to manipulate yourself so as not to offend offendable people. See, if they're not offendable, they won't offend themselves with what you do or say.
Yeah.
But if they are offendable, nothing you do or say will be enough to keep them from offending themselves. No manipulation of your behavior will allow them to see you because they're too insecure and have all their attention on them and what it means about them.
I feel like that's so freeing, having the possibilities on the board. And because I know in the past, I have either laid into the proving myself or laid into the shrinking to fit. Sometimes we'll call it, where I'm downplaying what I'm doing to be able to fit in. Thank you. This is just so many possibilities, and there's nothing to apologize for. So I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I'm
Thank
sure
you.
that our listeners came right along for the ride with all of us, and they discovered a lot about themselves. So thank you, Jen, really.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn. Let's hear what one of you listeners has to say about being here in the transformation community.
This is Michelle in Manhattan. And if you're looking for a community of people, if you want to meet great people, then I invite you to join us for a 2-hour seminar or even a weekend seminar. You're welcome, and we would love to have you there.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
As I mentioned in the first segment, we are currently in Costa Rica. So the next Living Made Easy 2-hour seminars are Monday evening, January 27th, and then Tuesday at the evening time in the European time zone, Tuesday the 28th, and again on Saturday, February 1st. And you can mark your calendars. The magical relationship evenings are Monday the 10th, and in the European time zone on a whole new day, on Wednesday evening, the 12th
Of
February.
There you go.
Thank you. Both are in February. Of course, yes, not this month, in February. So also the weekends coming up are Living Life with Passion and Wonder. February 22nd, 23rd. It's virtual. And then we have Transformation in the Workplace, which is happening on April 5th and 6th. One more thing, as long as I'm doing the list, our first in-person course of the year, aside from Costa Rica, is the Freedom to Breathe in May on the 22nd, and the Superpower of Being You on May 23rd, 24th, and 25th. You can find out all about upcoming seminars so that you can register and mark your calendars at transformationmadeeasy.com.
There you go.
Next guest is Sandy.
Yes.
Welcome to being here, Sandy. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, I'm zooming in from Munich in Germany. and I'm so glad to be here. And I'm so glad this last segment was recorded with Jen because it was awesome. It was like you were speaking with me as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and you don't have the same physical body type as Jen does, but you still have the same situation of being okay, being you exactly as you are in meetings. Because I know you're a film editor, so you have meetings with directors and producers and people of that nature, and they're just as insecure as everybody else.
Yeah. And also reading the description, the apology addiction, it feels like that describes me, who I used to be.
Yes. Yes. Describe that and describe how you largely dissolved it or how it doesn't own you like it did. Because as if I were still stuck in an apology addiction, I'd be interested in that.
That would be most people who are listening are stuck in an apology addiction.
Because I recall when just about everything out of your mouth included, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Physically curling into yourself and getting a hangdog look and sometimes even clasping your hands together and operating. Yeah. There was something really wrong with you.
Yeah. I felt like, I just didn't belong. I'm not good enough. I don't, I just have to say sorry for even opening my mouth,
I want to take it in pieces because this is too good. It's so good that you don't belong and you should apologize even for opening your mouth. I'm absolutely certain most people have that. Mm-hmm. At least as one of the tunes that they've learned to play on their own personal piano, the I don't belong.
Yeah. And I'm sorry.
No, go.
And you were speaking about the pendulum with Jen a while ago. I have also had exactly the opposite, where I was like a riot and being a pain just to be, loud and get attention from my parents. So I feel like it's you can be both at the same time. But what I've learned hanging out with you guys is that this apology or apologizing for myself, if I keep it in abeyance, just I see it, want to do it, and I'm like, don't need to go there. And it makes life so much more fun for everybody around me and for myself.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
It goes something like this. Did you make a conscious decision to stop behaving that way? Or did you notice that as you became aware of the behavior, it just stopped?
The latter. And every time I decided to stop being that way, it didn't work.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about the 3 principles of instantaneous transformation. It's early in the year and we could all use a refresher. When you decided to stop, it was the first principle.
Anything you resist, you produce.
What you judge, don't like, don't want, try to get rid of.
That's what you get stuck with.
And you reinforce it. It actually makes that habit stronger. For every action, equal and opposite reaction.
And you're pushing against something, so then you're stuck to what you're pushing against. And if it's, I'm not going to be this way anymore, you will be that way.
Second principle, life shows up exactly as it does. So you have this urge to apologize for yourself. That's all that you can have in that moment, if that's what you have.
And if you see it
third principle,
without judging it, third principle, it completes itself in the seeing of it. So you don't need to do anything. You just have to notice that you have a propensity to apologize, and suddenly you may be speaking straight. The other thing I suggest is not to qualify yourself. You are and have experience and you are capable. And so there's nothing you need to apologize for. look, you're here on planet Earth. If you're here, you belong here.
Yep.
You need to apologize for your being here.
Yeah, I love that. Trying to find the words to describe that, the feeling of just being me and sometimes louder than I would in the past have allowed myself in a normal circumstance. And being straight and clear, it just feels so good. And sometimes it's scary, but it feels great.
I don't know why you need louder.
Are you saying louder in that you used to do the quiet diminutive version? So louder is now just on the playing field of normal?
Of normal, yes. Not
Okay.
like me, people wouldn't understand me when they'd say, "What did you say? Can you say that again?" It would be just the normalest thing for me to have to repeat myself because I wasn't clear and wasn't loud enough.
Yeah, but you can say something quietly and it can be loud and clear.
Yeah.
It's if you were suppressing what you said, so you swallowed some of it as you said it, they'd say, "What was that?" Because it wouldn't communicate because if in that case, in your insecurity, you don't want to be seen fully. But hey, if you're seen fully, you'll be seen as the beautiful woman that you are.
I want to take a moment
Did you
and do
get
a
that?
shout out.
I did. Thank you, Shya.
Good.
I want to take a moment and do a shout out to you, Sandy. If you don't know Sandy, and even if you do, this shout out is because she has been editing all of the videos of the month. And if you are a subscriber to the Living Made Easy on Demand subscription series, where you get a video of us having an interaction with someone similar to what we're having with Sandy today, each week in your inbox for a year. It's a great way to start your week. Every Sunday you get one. Sandy's been doing all of the editing and putting them together so that they're ready to distribute. And I've noticed the lack of apology for the interest in communicating clearly in how you do the edits.
Wow. Yeah.
In that if somebody's speaking or we're speaking and you cut so that we can, as the audience, can see the interplay between the three of us or the four of us if we're talking to a couple and the reactions back and forth. So you can actually visually see that we're listening to each other and registering what one another are saying. And you see it in real time and you watch the person's expression blossom rather than after the blossoming. So you're like, did that make sense to that person? You are visually creating the experience of transformation. You are so talented. And we're not wearing a hat, but if we had one, our hats would be off for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good at that.
Well, look, you're good at everything you enjoy doing.
I'm nodding my head. Yes, yes. Yeah.
And tell me, are you enjoying doing virtually everything you're doing these days rather than picking and choosing between the ones you want to do and the ones that are, quote, chores?
Actually, I do. I don't really have very many things where I'm like, I don't want to do this. And when I don't want to do it, then I don't do it usually because there's a reason, either something, I don't know. There's a reason why I don't want to do something, but it's not like a normal thing that goes through my life. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. My husband says, "Hey, Sandy, can you do this?" And I'm like, "Sure." It's there's not that much resistance anymore. It's like it flows.
So
I
are
like
you
that.
saying you're a yes to how your life is showing up?
Yeah.
And when it's a no, it's a genuine no as opposed to a form of resistance.
I believe so, yeah.
You know, I asked Shia last night about dinner. I had different options for what to make. And he looked at me and said, basically, no. Not that he doesn't love those dishes, but he said, I'd like to go out. It was great. It what the no was a no because it was his truth, not because he was resisting the possibility of me making him a meal, which would have been tasty anyway.
That is so sweet. Yeah. We had that this morning. My husband came to me. He says, I love how we communicate. It's so clear and easy. And it's yeah,
Well, that's a gift that you just gave us.
absolutely.
Not always the
Because
case.
that was not the case when we met you guys.
No, and we wouldn't be together anymore. And that's for sure.
But you see, Sandy, it's on you.
Hmm.
I'll tell you why it's on you.
Okay.
You introduced Benedict to us. He didn't introduce you to us.
And you
So-
had the courage to
and-
keep looking while you were in the midst of your apology addiction.
Right.
True.
You pretend that you weren't addicted to apologizing for your life at that point.
One other thing from back in that time frame, because it's on my desktop of my computer, I have files. And if I open the file that says consulting and I click it, then it has all the different individual files from our consulting practice. If I double click on the Sandy file, and I double click on the Sandy early days file, one of the things that you're missing is the courage you had to bring someone who would see you as you were, including all the things you considered as faults. Additionally, you had to risk that your boyfriend might get ahead of you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think a lot of people want to hang on to quote transformation. It's not transformation when they do it that way, but hang on to it so that they have a little bit of a superiority on whomever they're dealing with, as opposed to an equal playing ground where you get seen.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Seen.
Where you can be seen?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
The other thing, Sandy, is you went for your dreams that you found weren't satisfying once you achieved them.
And now your whole life is a dream come true.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it isn't about getting somewhere, it's about enjoying being you in this moment of your life.
It's so true. I didn't, it's like, we live in our apartment is only like 2 rooms, a bedroom, living room, and a kitchen. And for our age and where we are, it's like, don't have a guest room or something, and we feel so happy. And we're like, we don't need a bunch of other things. We're like, this is our life exactly this way. And it's, I don't know. I
You
feel like,
misrepresent yourself a little bit.
what did I say?
You misrepresent yourself a bit. I get, first of all, I can see your home behind you, and I've seen it multiple times, including the kitchen, and it is gorgeous, even though you say it's only 2 rooms. Do you not also have a house in the mountains?
House?
Yes, we do. That's true.
I know, it's just so embarrassing to be a double homeowner. I mean, maybe you rent this one instead of own it, but you are downplaying your success.
That's true. We're successful and happy at the same time.
Successful and happy at the
Let's
same time.
apologize
Wow.
for that. I'm so sorry. I'm happy and maybe you're not, and please don't hate me.
Hey, it's okay to be hated.
Okay.
Look, people hate.
When they're upset, and when they stop being upset, they're generally really, really happy for you.
I've just started watching football again. the American football. And I notice that when a player gets hurt, if they're really a good player, there's a part of me that's happy that they're out of the game.
Against your team or on your team?
Well, we don't really have a team.
But if it's on the opposing team, that the one I've chosen to root for.
Yeah.
See, even though I don't want people to suffer and be hurt and broken, somehow there's a part of me
that's petty.
That's petty. And I say that's true for all folks, especially those that go to church regularly.
Yeah.
Because you get enculturated to try and be a good person rather than to notice how you are, which enhances your ability to be appropriate, which may be considered, quote, good. But if I pressure myself to be good, I'm resisting the parts of me I think are bad, and those really blossom.
And there are no bad parts of you. See, good and bad is all relative from a morality that's been imposed upon us in our enculturation. A lion isn't bad when it kills a hyena.
But what about when it kills a bunny, right? No.
Bunnies are okay. When it kills a bunny, either, it doesn't matter. Or an antelope, it doesn't matter. The lion isn't saying, oh, I'm really bad for being a carnivore.
Yeah.
It has no
morality assigned to its actions.
Yeah. See, we have morality attached to our actions. We've been domesticated.
And actually, that's a good thing. I wouldn't want somebody going, oh, I feel like taking a poop. Let me pull my pants down here in the middle of the street and then I'll just leave it. The morality and the enculturation is a great thing. And at the same time, you can torture yourself with it and then apologize for being you.
I was thinking of taking a bite out of your neck.
Oh, okay.
But I see what you mean. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yes, we kind of went wild afield there.
But go wild afield, Look, it's not about apologizing for how you've been.
And how you see.
Because you can't be different than you are in the current moment of your life. So if that's the case, well, if you want to argue with me about that, you can. But you can't. If you're arguing, that's the only thing you can do in this moment. You can only be exactly as you are in the current moment of your life. That means in any previous moment, you could have only been the way you were. So you haven't done anything wrong. Now, you may have done things that go against the morality of the mass.
And you may have done things that have earned you consequences. Use speed, get pulled over by
get a ticket.
And get a ticket. It's not that you did something wrong. However, that action has consequences. Right. So it's being kind to your mate. It has consequences. Your actions have the consecutive sequence of events that happen.
So does it. Being kind to yourself have consequences. The consequences of being kind to yourself is you'll be kind to your mate. You'll be kind to everyone if you're kind to yourself. But if you're harsh, mean, intolerant of yourself, then other people will be flawed and faulted in your perspective.
I know that we are recording this prior to Costa Rica, so kindly tell your husband we look forward to seeing him there and you as well.
Thank you. I will tell him, and I look forward to being there with you.
Within another week, Costa Rica 2026 will be open. So if you would like to join us there, a weekend seminar is the prerequisite. So you can pick your weekend seminar in this year or multiples and make your plans.
We actually suggest multiples because
love the
transformation is a unique new language, if you will. And you don't learn a language by reading a book on the language once. You practice the language and you get better at it.
It's instantaneous and cumulative at the same time. Well, thanks for being with us, Sandy. It was lovely. And you can subscribe to this podcast, share it with your friends. If you're enjoying our videos each month, you may want to consider joining the subscription series, Living Made Easy on Demand. Sandy does just incredible work, and you will see us with people in New York, in Hamburg, in Costa Rica. Yes. Also, you can find all our courses on the sign-up link at transformationmadeeasy.com. Ready for next week's episode?
I am.
Sharing the load. We'll be back next week.
So come on back and don't miss being here.